Hey everybody, happy Tuesday. Guess what day it is? It is our migraine strategy call day. We come to you every Tuesday at this time with interviews and strategies and different tips and tricks that you can use to find your migraine freedom instead of using medications that just aren't working, instead of thinking about risky surgeries and spending all of this money on things that just work on managing pain versus actually getting to the root cause and ending the pain. For those of you who don't know me, I am Debbie Waidl. I am a functional migraine health coach specialist, and I am so happy to have a special guest with us today. This is going to be really confusing for some of you because last week on Friday we had Heather, but today we have another Heather. So welcome, Heather, to our call on Tuesday.
Thank you. Lots of Heathers in the world. So
Exactly. But we're so happy that we've had a chance to talk to both of you. So Heather, just so everyone knows a little bit about this
sure.
Heather is in a family of 5 with her husband, a host daughter from China, and her parents who are staying with her during the winter right now. She's working part-time from home. Normally you were working international higher education, but I'm so glad to hear you're taking a much needed break for yourself and only working part-time. Quite an improvement for you, right? Because you really had a long time where you couldn't work because of migraines when they went chronic. So Heather took some mental and physical health time, which is so amazing. You love, your hobbies are traveling and animals, loving both. And when you started with us, you were having 24 to 25 days of migraines, one that lasted for 7 weeks. And now you're having 3 to 4 a month maximum, completely shifting your life, and the pain level, is so different for you. And even when you have one, you're able to now stay positive and work on reducing it so much quicker using the tools that you learned in the Freedom from Migraine method, which is so amazing. So again, Heather, thank you for being here today.
Debbie, I'm so happy to be here. It's a very different place now than when I joined the program way back in September. So I'm just happy to be where I am right now.
I love it. I absolutely love it. This is really the best part of my job. I love seeing everyone every day, but this is really the best part, seeing the smiles on your faces at the end. So you had migraines. Remind me, how many years did you have migraines?
I started having migraines when I was 23, sorry. And I
Okay.
was working in sales and I kind of had a high pressure job and I was living overseas and it was just out of the blue it started and I thought I had like the flu. I didn't know what was happening. My mom had migraines, my aunts had migraine, my sisters have migraines. So it's hereditary, I understand. And
Yeah.
then I would get them, periodically over the years, every year, probably about, I don't know, 12 a year. But then
Mm-hmm.
something changed when I started going through perimenopause. All of a sudden last spring 2021, I got a migraine that wouldn't go away and lasted 7 weeks. I thought I was dying. I didn't know what was happening. I thought, oh, I must have a brain tumor. What's going on? This has got to be something else. But it was just your plain old migraine that wouldn't stop. And then after I got that to go away, I had a summer where I barely could leave the house. They were so chronic. And every day the pain was just, I couldn't think. I couldn't string a sentence together. I just laid in bed for the entire summer.
Mm.
And we had just moved to a new town for my husband's job. And he was gone all hours. I had no friends or family where we moved to in Virginia. And I was just housebound. And I thought, this cannot be my life. I cannot be homebound. And then I started getting nervous even to leave the house. Even on a good
Mm.
day, I was afraid to leave because the migraines would come. I was afraid. So I just turned into this fearful, weird person living in the house, which is
Yeah.
not who I am.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. So you started doing all the things to try to end the pain.
Right.
And I'm assuming medication was a big part of this journey from what I remember.
Yes, I've seen a neurologist probably for the last 5 years in DC, and I just wasn't getting really the relief that I needed. But I started to see how little the neurologist appointments were working for me when I went to this doctor during the 7-week migraine. And she just kind of shrugged and said, I mean, we can up your meds and give you more meds. And so I took more meds and I took more higher dosage and took cortisone. And if you know anything about cortisone, it helps with inflammation, but didn't help my migraine. And it also makes you kind of a little upset. It makes you really, I was already hormonal entering perimenopause. And then I'm on cortisone. I thought I was losing my mind. And then through it out, the pain was constant. And I kept taking triptans and all kinds of different, I was taking at-home injections that my husband would give me. And then I was taking injections that were put in my upper thigh that they're like a trigger release. They
Mhm.
were so painful. It's like stabbing yourself. And then it would make you sick. The side effect of that shot was you would get really nauseous. And I mean, I just, at one point I was like, I can't go on like this. Something
Yeah.
has to give.
Yeah. Is that when you found our group, or is that when you started talking about other alternatives that are a little bit more severe than medication?
I was so desperate that I found this migraine center in Texas that does surgery. And I scheduled you had to go down for a test surgery. And then you had to go back for the actual surgery. So I went for the test surgery. And for the majority of the week, I had a migraine, though I did have a couple of days, but that was normal anyway for a month for me. And then I was told more about the surgery when I got down there than I ever was on the phone or through video conferencing. And it was really intensive. I was going to have to wear basically a pacemaker, almost the size of a pacemaker would be inserted in my chest. And I have
Mhm.
trouble healing as it is. I don't have a really good heal response rate. And so the thought of that, oh, I could never get another MRI, going through an airport would be a nightmare. And I'd have these implants in my head. And we were scheduled to do the surgery. I'd done the test surgery, and then we're going back to Dallas, my husband and I. And I found Debbie. I found you online. And I thought, well, let me just look at this. Even though I was like, for sure, we'd bought the tickets, non-refundable. I'd already impositioned my uncle once. We were going back to stay at my uncle's house in Dallas. God love him. And my husband had taken off work and his really busy job again. And we found Debbie. And we had an hour-long appointment with Debbie, my husband and I. And after the call, he turned to me and said, we got to try this program. And I said, I know, I can't do that surgery without trying this program first. And he's like, you can do it. I'm like, I don't know. Do I have the strength to try one more
Mhm.
option, one more alternative before I try surgery? And he said, you have the strength. I'm here with you. You can do this. And I thought, okay, let's do this because I just can't do surgery.
Yeah.
And I entered the program in September, and here I am, a much happier and healthier, wholer person
Yeah. Without having to go through risky surgery, something you
without the
didn't need to
surgery
do.
and without all the triptans and the injections and the constant pain, even from the cure. The cure is painful,
Yeah.
right? And it's just such a terrible roller coaster when you have migraines and you keep going to the doctor, and the doctor can't do anything for you except
Mhm.
prescribe more pills, which give you rebound migraines. So you're just on this Ferris wheel of medicine and doctor's appointments, and you're like, why am I continuing to see you? You try another doctor, you try a different neurologist, and nothing changes. And you're just like, I just don't know how I'm going to continue like this. And I got
Yeah.
very lucky. I know some people have chronic migraines for years and years and years, and mine wasn't that long, although I have had migraines for about 31 plus years. So it's been a long time that I've dealt with migraines, but you learn to live with that. But the chronic part, you can't live with that.
No.
You can't live a
No.
life with chronic migraines. So
No.
I just would really recommend people to try your program, because once they learn all the tools and the information that will help them make better choices, it doesn't take long before you find relief. Now everybody's different, and I know that,
Mhm.
but I found relief starting like the second week. I started getting massive relief. All the things that I was instructed to do in your guidebooks and by you and through the weekly meetings and
Mhm.
hearing other people who were in the program, that was really invaluable to me, being connected with other people. And I really don't like to be, in too many meetings. I have enough of that with work. But I thought, well, I'm going to attend these meetings and just see it. And what I learned there was so helpful. And boom, like within a month, my life had changed. And I thought, I don't have the energy, I don't have the bandwidth to learn anything, to attend anything. I'm struggling just to get through the day. But it was within a month, I was like, well, I'm a different person.
Yeah.
So it's so severe where I was last year in the spring to where I am now, the change. I've been recommending this program to everyone. And I always hear, oh, I go to a neurologist, or I have a doctor that has treated me very well for years. But I'm like, but are you still experiencing, migraines? Oh,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. Well, you don't actually need to. You can drastically reduce the number of migraines you have per year, per month, per week. And I think people just keep doing the same old all the time. We do that with Western medicine, and we never look at things like, what we're doing in our day-to-day lives, what we're eating, how we're moving. All of that has to be reassessed. And, a part of the problem with migraines is I gained a lot of weight. I couldn't exercise. I was taking cortisone every month. That
Mm.
really has a terrible weight gain for you. And I'm just now starting to lose the weight because I feel good. Can't diet, can't exercise when you have a migraine.
No,
But you can move. You can't maybe go to your spin class on a migraine. But when it
not
starts,
usually.
right, when it starts, you can move and it helps. And I learned all these things working with Debbie and with Erin and listening to the other women in the group in the US and in the UK. And I think you have some from Canada. All these women just trying to get through the day, and we're all finding success. So I'm a big cheerleader for Debbie's program because it really saved my life. I can't tell you, the pain was always about a 10. And I was always going to the urgent care or the emergency room, getting
Mhm.
hooked up. My neurologist had a migraine rescue room. I tried that. There's only so many drugs you can get pumped into your system. You get so overloaded so fast.
Yeah.
And the cure the cure for me made me very loopy and out of it, and not participating in my own life, even using the medicine that they said would cure me or at least help alleviate the pain. I was not an active participant in my own life with the migraines or on the medicine for the migraines. And
Yeah.
now back to living my life and being part of my family
Because you
and
took
working.
control, right?
Yeah.
You took
Yeah.
control of your health, and,
Hmm.
not to put down any doctors, because we do love the fact that we have doctors that can help us and be there and support us. But when 95% of the time when we go to a neurologist for migraines, they only know how to treat us with medication. They don't have the time to sit there and ask about your whole lifestyle,
Yeah.
what your life is like, what you're eating, how you're sleeping, what your stress level is, what toxins you're coming into contact with. And it's not that they don't care. It's insurance, right? It's a money game. It's a big
Yeah.
money game. And unfortunately, Western medicine is that way, where we take more of a functional approach, where it's like, all right, well, let's figure out your life. You and I spent quite a few times talking.
Yeah.
We actually, I think the first call we had to cancel because you had a migraine so bad, if I'm not
Hmm.
mistaken. I think I look
That's
back on
right. I
your,
forgot. But
which
you're
is
right.
not uncommon in this business. I don't take it personally when people
Right.
cancel on me, for a migraine, but, and then the time that we did talk, I know you were in pain. I knew you were in quite a bit of pain. So we had to end the call because you were in pain and then pick it up the next day. And I do think that you needed time to think too, because here you were with plane tickets. You'd spent
Yeah.
all this money, done all this work, done all this, prepping and thinking this was the way I was headed, because this is the way my doctor is telling me, someone you're supposed to
Right.
trust and believe has your best interest in mind. And why I do think they have your best interest. Unfortunately, they're not heading us in the right direction.
No, they don't
And
have the right
you,
tools.
yeah, and you and the other hundreds of women that we work with are the living proof
Yeah.
that there is a different direction that we can head, and it's one that's going to give you lasting results, not some quick fix that isn't going to last long.
Right. I completely agree. I forgot we did have that cancellation meeting, and then you and I had a one-on-one call, and then you met with my husband and I,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
we as a team decided we're going to try this. And it's really it hurts your family when they see you like this. They're hurt for you. So everybody's hurting in the home when you have a migraine. You're not just alone in your room in the dark.
Yeah.
Everybody in the house is tiptoeing around. And, I have pets and they're whimpering at the door, wondering why I
Yeah.
can't get up to walk them. And they just have to go out in the yard. And so everybody in the whole home and your friends, you stop seeing your friends. They think you've dumped them and that you're
Yeah.
ghosting them, but you literally can't even respond to text messages. You're so broken,
Yeah.
because the pain starts to really affect you mentally. I've heard so many people say, "Oh, I get so depressed anymore with
Hmm.
my migraines." I'm not a depressive person, luckily, thankfully. That's not one of my burdens. But I started to get so depressed and I didn't want
Yeah.
to talk to anybody. I didn't want to call anybody. I didn't want to email. I didn't want to text. No social media. I just wanted this all to stop and everybody to go away and leave me alone. Because some people want more people around them when they suffer. Some people, like me, we want less. We just want to shut off. And then you're shut off from everything. And the pandemic has shut us off enough
Yeah.
from each
Yeah.
other. We can't also have migraines taking us out. So,
Exactly. Exactly. And I think probably if I had to go back and actually do the stats, I would say probably 90% of the women that I speak with and work with have some sort of anxiety, depression,
yeah,
panic attacks, are on medication for it, are
right.
seeing a doctor for it. And so much of it is, well, one, it actually has to do with the way we take care of our body because we're not producing those neurotransmitters to actually keep us happy. We don't have the right amount of serotonin and
Right.
dopamine and things like that. But on the other token, being in pain, whether it's one day a month or 30 days a month, it really has a toll on us emotionally because it's almost sometimes worse emotionally if you're the person that's like 1 or 2 days a month because you're waiting, you're anticipating it.
Mhm. I can
It's
see
every
that.
day you're like, yeah, this is just me again. This is the way it is. You're
Right.
anxious, yes, but the person that's like waiting, like, oh my God, it's going to come at my cycle. Is my cycle going to come on time? What day is it going to be? Can I plan anything?
Right.
Can I go anywhere? Those people I actually find are more anxious because it's horrible, that
Can't plan
anticipation.
anything. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can't take a vacation, can't plan a dinner. I don't know how many plans that I made I had to cancel because of migraines. And your friends are understanding to a point, but if your friends don't get migraines, they start to look askance at you like, really? Do you,
Right.
do you really have you really can't do this? Or, like, come on,
Yeah.
it's all the time. Can you fight through it? Maybe they get a headache. It's not the same thing as the
No.
migraine where you're thrown up and you can't open your eyes in a strong light and you feel like your head's being crushed in a vice. So it's different. And I had if you have a supervisor who doesn't understand migraines, you're really in trouble.
Yeah.
So that just don't understand why you can't power through the workday under halogen lighting. If you're still going into work and not totally working remotely, they don't understand that because they're
No.
not going through it and they don't know, maybe you're just like, oh, you're not fighting through the pain. Well, it's kind of debilitating, so it's hard to do that. It's hard to focus
Exactly.
on a laptop or in a meeting when your brain is just crushing you. So
And we
I
hide it
really,
well, don't we? We
yeah,
really hide it. So I
try
don't
to.
think people that have migraines realize, because I'm sure you feel the same way, Heather, but I get sick of saying, I got so sick of saying I had a migraine because I had one every day. So it's like you just stop saying it because you're so tired of saying it and you don't want to be that person, but you're feeling that pain every single day. But because it's not like purple blotches on your face or like swelling that someone can actually see physically, when you're hiding it, they have no idea what you're going through on a daily basis. So they don't understand when it hits your level of, I have to cancel. They're like, really? Why? You
That's a
look
really good
fine.
point. Yeah, Debbie, I agree with you. You don't want to say that all the time. I would make excuses, even though the real reason I couldn't do something was a migraine. I would say other things, like my
Yeah.
husband doesn't feel well, or he
Throwing
was
him under the
fine.
bus.
You hear me on, he's like, "What are you telling people I don't feel well?" I'm like, "I can't tell them it's me again. I can't.
Yeah.
It has to
Yeah.
be you now. I can't be always, the one that is ill. I'm not an invalid."
Yeah.
But I started to become one, with the migraines being chronic. Can't do much for myself. Couldn't go to the grocery store. Couldn't cook dinner.
Yeah.
Right. So can't do the laundry. Can't do
Well, and
anything.
exactly. And that just goes back to your point of how migraines are a family thing. Yes, you were feeling the pain. Yes, you were the one who's, taking the brunt of it, but I'm sure your husband had to do the laundry. He had to run the errands, and you throw him under the bus when you have to with friends, and he has to see you in pain. I mean, I can't imagine, I thank God every day that I was the one that had migraines, not my kids, or another family member. Cause my mother did. I actually watched it for many years. And it's horrible. It's horrible to watch it. You just want to take that pain away. So, whenever we do jump on the calls, you mentioned your husband was on, and that's why we try to do that, is because they need to be a big part of the healing process. Plus, because we hide so many things, I think it's important for them to hear what you want to share, so that they know. Your husband pretty much knew how you were feeling. But it's still good for them to hear that whole story of, honey, I really am dealing with this every day, and I really am scared. And this really isn't something I want to live with forever.
I agree. I think it's important to have a third party come in and say, she's really suffering and we need to figure out something else because what you're doing isn't working. And for him to hear that, because it is quite a commitment. And, we've committed to other ways of getting rid of migraines, and it is a bit of an expense, over a 4-month period. So you have to commit to the time and the money, and you have to have faith. You have to commit. You have to have that positive attitude. You've got to commit to that. So I'm not saying just having a positive attitude is enough. No, but you have to commit to the whole comprehensive, I'm going to do this approach. And if you don't have the backing of your spouse, I think that would be really hard. I think you would feel like you're out on a limb on your own. And I 100%. Really need him, to hear that. And I know after that call, I knew why you always had the spouse or partner or family member come in with the call, because otherwise they don't really understand what kind of program this is. And they don't know who is guiding this. They need to meet you as the guiding force of this program so that they have a little faith too. Yeah. So I the first call I had with you was just me. And then I'm like, you're going to have to come with this call because I can't even explain it. I have to have her explain it to you. And then he's like, oh, after the call, I was like, I get why I had to be there. It was a very, very busy person, and it was hard for him to take time off. But I'm like, you're going to have to, be on this call. So he was really thankful. And we made the decision together not to do the surgery, to just try this program instead. And oh my God, what a godsend. I really do thank God, thank the universe that I found you, or you found me. I started getting, social media informational posts that I would click on and would come into my my sphere. And I'm really glad that happened. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it so you reach more people. Because
we are trying.
It's up to us to spread it by word of mouth, which I've been doing with people. When I hear somebody suffering or I hear a family member suffering, I say, okay, we're going to take a minute. I want to talk to you about this program because this is important to change their life. And I try to
1 in 4 women. I mean, it's crazy that 1 in 4 women are suffering with migraines and suffering needlessly. I tell so many people, it's probably like 1% of the population that we might not be able to help. This 1% that maybe has some permanent damage. They've been, did something permanent and just haven't worked on it for so long. There are those people out there, but the average woman that I speak with, there's absolutely no reason to have to live a life with medication and worry and pain and, just not being able to do the things that they want to do. So, I greatly appreciate everyone in the program is always so kind about sharing their experience like you are today, because it is important, right? We lose hope. I lost hope when I had daily migraines for 10 years. My mother had them, my sister had them, my grandmother had them. So of course, what's going through my head? I'm destined. They've had them for decades. So, not my sister, she's younger, but my grandmother and mother had them for decades when I started. So I thought, well, I guess it's my turn. It's my time. Here I go. But thank goodness one day, I just realized enough was enough. And that's why we do these interviews, everyone, why you're watching today is because we want you to know that there is hope. So let me know in comments right now, everyone that's watching. I know we have a bunch of people over here and Barbie's on. over there helping everybody out. We've got Claire on, we've got Camille. How are you? We've got Robin on, Zola, so many, I can't even see all the names, Catherine. So thanks for joining us. But if you get anything out of this call, I hope that you get that there is hope. So whether it is working with me, whether it is just learning in this group, whether it is finding somebody else that maybe fits you better, that's absolutely fine. Yeah. But do something, because it doesn't have to be this medication roller coaster. Heather is living proof right here.
Yeah, if it can work for me, I know people say this, but it could really work for everybody. So, and I just couldn't cry anymore. If you're crying every day, because sometimes that's a relief. When you have migraines, of course, sometimes it makes it worse when you cry. Yeah. But if you're crying every day, if you're feeling so low down, you don't know how to get through another day. If you have hit the pain wall and you cannot do this anymore, and it's ruining your life, your relationships, please give Debbie's program a try. It's worth it. It's so worth it. And for that 4 months, even at the end, I was so much better. I was really doing great. I didn't want to leave because the support, the support from Debbie and her people and the other members in the group going through the same thing is so wonderful. I really think, I don't really like support groups. I'm not that kind of person. I'm a social person, but I don't really like these kind of support groups. But it changed my life, and I loved it, and I look forward to it. And I felt like I was doing something different to help me and to help my problem and to help my family even. And I thought, I'm trying something new. I'm a problem solver. I'm not just doing the same old anymore. If I'm going to problem solve, I'm going to try new things. And this was a new thing. And I encourage other people to problem solve. Don't just go to the neurologist or the doctor. As well-meaning as these people are, and they get into the profession to help people, you don't become a doctor because you want to hurt people. You're out there trying to fix people and solve problems, but it's not working. Then try something else that may work for you.
Exactly. And it's not that we're anti-meds, because we actually encourage people when they come in the program not to drop their medication right away, because we need to do healing. We need to get your body ready. The women that come in and say, should I stop my triptans today? I'm like, no, please don't. There is a process, and, because nobody wants anybody in pain. And, I just wish that when we went to the doctor, they would tell us, here's your med. Now we're going to work on these things. And my goal is to get you off of it in 6 months. I know I say this over and over again, but it's because I do mean it so much that I still have some medication in my household, not for migraines, but, I have Advil in the household if I hurt my ankle, or, I pulled a muscle in my back a few days ago, and if I needed an Advil, I would take it, but I'm not going to take it every day. Right. I'm also going to work on making sure that I stretch to help my back, and making sure I'm putting essential oils on and doing heat if I need to. And that Advil is going to be the last resort and only temporary. And then it's going to go back on the shelf because I don't need it every day. And I think that's the problem in all these other migraine groups that are out there. And let me know, ladies, are you in other migraine groups where all they talk about is medication and medication cocktails and surgery? Let me know if you're in those groups. You don't have to tell me what the group is, but let me know if that's your experience, because we don't do that here, because we're not about Imitrex doesn't work. Should I take anitriptyline or the new CGRP? Which one works for you? If you're on a med, fine, stay on it until we can get you off of it, but let's not start new ones.
I don't know if you remember, but when I found the group, I posted, because I didn't join yet. I was just curious. And I said, hey, has anyone done I won't say the name of the procedure, but the procedure in Texas? I'm about to do that. I'd like to know if anybody else has done that. And I think it was Aaron who reached out to me and said, we're really not about surgery and medications. And I was like, well, what else is there? I was like, so confused. What do you mean you're not about medication? So I think that is something that may be new to some of your listeners on today's call.
Yes. And that's why it's in our group rules, so that when people join, they can read those rules and know that. And I know sometimes we might upset some people when we take their comments down, and we never mean to upset anyone.
Right.
We just want to make sure we keep the integrity of the group, where people know there is hope. Instead of having to take a pill, instead of having to, do a surgery, that there are other ways. And it just makes me so sad to see these other groups out there that all they do is focus on, and women are just like dying for that information. Like, tell me, they just want like you to jump on and go, Heather, tell me the one pill you took that made your migraines go away, because I'm going to take that too. Even if they've already tried it, they're going to try it again, because they're like, okay, it worked for Heather, it must work for me. But it's not that way. So
Yeah.
Anyway, we have so many amazing peoples on. Kim is on too. Thank you so much for all your comments over there. So we are going to wrap up, ladies. Let me know if you have any questions for Heather. If you do, just tag myself or tag Heather. And if we don't get to them before we end here, because so many I know are watching the replay, we'll make sure to go back and keep an eye on this video and get your questions answered. But so Heather, if we have to leave these ladies with like one piece of advice, the Heather piece of advice, what do you want to leave them with today?
Oh, definitely try the program. It's different. And you'll see results fairly quickly. And by that, I mean days, a week or two for most people, I think. And then if by the end of the month you see results, well, what a change in just like 30 days. So I saw rather rapid results. And it was weird. Like I didn't even recognize it at first. I'm like, God, I've had like 5 days of no migraines. And it was just like I was normal living my life. What's this about? You really can't believe it. And every day I would wait for that migraine to come back.
Yeah.
And then finally it just really didn't. And even now when I get migraines, I know what to do to combat them. So if they're never as bad as they were last summer. Oh my God, never. I had them off at the pass. Debbie, I just want to say thank you. Without this program, I don't know where I'd be right now. So ladies, those of you that are in despair, there is help out there for you. Try this program, try something that's different.
I can't thank you enough for coming today. And I have to say, one of your favorite things that you posted in the group one day, I can't even remember what the context was, but you put a win in there and I said, how does that make you feel? And you just came back with the words normal.
Yeah.
You just wanted to feel normal, but the way that you said it was like, it was such a weight lifted off of you that you had your life back. And this is a question I ask so many women when I get on a call with them. It's like, tell me how many days a month you feel like the person you want to be, you know, like the Heather you want to be, the Debbie you want to be. And it saddens me so much when I typically hear 0.
Yeah.
You know, because they may not have migraines every
me.
day, but they have brain fog. They're exhausted. They, you know, have neck pain. They have gut health issues. They have joint pain. They have allergies. You know, there's something every single day.
Hungover for the medicine or hungover for the migraine you had the day before.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I am so glad you're feeling normal.
Thank you. I feel pretty great.
I love it. I love it. Well, Heather, thank you so much for your time today.
Welcome.
Everyone that's watching, thank you so much for being here today. Please, if you have any questions, I know Barbie's over there right now, make sure that you ask. We'll be watching this feed as well. And if we leave you with any last word today, let's just leave you with the word hope. Yeah. There's hope.
There's hope. Thanks,
all right,
Debbie.
everyone.
Bye,
Thank
everybody.
you so much, everybody. We will see you soon. And here's to your migraine-free day.